we can do with these every 1,000 subscriber videos, we can do an hour talking about whatever comes up, man. Whatever you're struggling with and you want a little bit of input, you want me to share my experience about it, that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm about. And I want to help you guys because so many people have helped me out. One of the reasons I was able to, in one day, boys, one night after already working 14, 15 hours, your boy's hacking away learning node.js because Matt Tran, Engineer True, sat me down. I said, look, man, I just need you. I need you to run me through Node real quick in an hour. Just run me through the basics of Node so that I can get up and start knocking out projects. He did. Knocked out one project on freeCodeCamp last night. Dead tired. But it's because people help you through the grind that I want to help you through your grind. So what are you guys grinding about? Let me know in the chat. And if you haven't already and you want to support, you can at Patreon. But I meant to say, if you haven't already, join our Facebook group, Code Tech and Caffeine. The link is in the description below. We share resources on there. We try to support each other, share memes to keep you focused, right? Keep you engaged. The hardest part about coding is staying motivated and moving on to that next phase of your life when you're just getting started in your career or trying to get started in your career. And before you get that payoff, you just have to believe, right? And you know, I interviewed Chris Sean yesterday. That interview will come out this coming Friday. And he talks about how coding has changed his life. And for me, it is one of those things where it has changed my life drastically. And I may have some very interesting news about how it's going to change a little bit more in about a week or so. Can't talk about it right now, but things may be changing. A little change here or there, a little bump in pay. So we'll see what happens, guys. My question is how much of a tool are you? I don't think I'm a tool, man. I don't think I feel the quality of a tool. I think to be a tool, you have to, one, take yourself very seriously. I don't do that. And you see this is a shirt of 5 cats playing Settlers of Catan, trading tuna for wool and shit like that. I don't take myself too seriously, boys. Sir Francis Alfred says, hey, have you heard of the Odin Project? If so, what do you think about it compared to freeCodeCamp? So the Odin Project, as I understand it, and I have heard of it, is a very popular Ruby on Rails sort of online coding environment. It's a tutorial site. Now, I haven't done it because I'm not a Ruby on Rails developer, and it's never been a what's the word? It's never been an interest of mine because I like JavaScript. Now, from what I've heard, it's very popular and it's very good. So it really depends. freeCodeCamp is for the JavaScript-oriented web developer, and then you have the Odin Project, which is for the Ruby on Rails. So you're going to learn things there that are Ruby and Ruby on Rails that you're not going to learn in freeCodeCamp. Now, which one do I think is better? I think going down the Angular, React, Node.js, JavaScript route is probably better long term. But both are good choices. That's the great thing about coding is you're only talking about this is one good choice. This is one slightly better good choice. Like it's a great choice no matter what you're doing as long as you're learning to code. Jeff Scott says, Dylan, I'm ready to code for a living, but I also want to game and stream too. Do you think that's too much of a broad horizon? So I would answer this, and this is slightly different, but kind of the same at the same time, is in a perfect world, your boy would be just a coding developer making money off YouTube. I'd be making those engineered truth bucks, right? And I would be working remote, traveling, doing YouTube videos, doing tutorials, trying to motivate you guys. Unfortunately, I don't make anywhere near what I do as a developer from YouTube and all that sort of stuff. So, but one day that is the dream, right? That is the dream. So what do I do I say this being one of the few people in the world who actually love their job. I really do. I love coding. I love the people I work with. Everything's great, man. But in a perfect world, your boy would be a YouTuber. That'd be it. And so in your perfect world, you'd be a streamer or you'd be doing video game commentary, whatever it be. So I think what you should do is something similar to what I'm doing, where I'm putting out content, and I'm also working my job, right? I'm getting that experience. And so if all the stars align and one day you're a successful gaming YouTuber or you're a successful streamer, then you have that resource that you kind of blow up, kind of go to the next level. Now, I'm not telling you not to chase your dream. I'm simply telling you that if you do chase it, be aware that you're chasing it without a backup plan. So YouTube is my backup plan instead of my main and only plan. Not that I need the backup plan, but it's the alternative plan that I want to have, right? And one day I hope to be there. But in the meantime, I got to continue my life. I got bills to pay. I got cats to feed. Look at this cat. You think this cat got that fat by just us not being able to buy food? No, man. We got to feed that monster. And the other two, and April and myself, right? So which we wouldn't be able to do if I was chasing the dream of YouTube. So it's okay to kind of say, okay, I want to focus on YouTube and I want to do this on the side. I come home, guys. I work 2 to 3, 4 hours a day on YouTube. Yesterday I interviewed Chris Sean. Today I'm doing a live stream and I'll be uploading videos and things like that in the process. I'm also I'm doing this, right? The every 1,000 subscribers. I also have several videos that I'm constantly working on and changing new content. I'm learning node.js, which I plan on making freeCodeCamp videos about to help you guys through the projects, help you guys learn these things as well, and hopefully get some ad revenue and chase that YouTube dream a little bit more. But you have to transition to what you're trying to do and understand that there is a learning curve, right? And so the learning curve in terms of how you're going to get there. Like, not everyone's going to do this straight. I'm going to start creating content and go straight to the moon. I'm at 16,000 subscribers, and I appreciate every one of them. And it's taken me a year and 9 months to get here. A year and 9 months. It took me to get 16,000. So this has become a part-time job outside of my developing job, outside of me learning code and getting better. Now, in a perfect world, I'm making 6 figures doing YouTube, big ass smile on my face at all times. But that's my advice, man. Treat it as a part-time job that you do outside your main job and hope for the best. But if you really are, look, man, it's this or nothing. Go for it. Live at home. When Engineer Truth said that he wanted to pursue a YouTube channel, he lived at his parents' house, was making like $500 a month from YouTube. Now he's making 15 grand. So he chased the dream, man, and it worked out for him. So you just have to put yourself in a situation where you can afford to chase the dream. I live all the way in Florida now. I can't chase the dream like that. Let's see. Erlen Sanchez says, hey, Dylan, I'm halfway through the Python tutorial you put up and also halfway through the freeCodeCamp portfolio project. Any suggestions besides continuing through these channels? Decide on a project that you want to make. And you'll find that you don't know nothing. You'll find you know nothing, and you'll start learning new things along the way. So, like, for me, it was my YouTube channel, and so I learned photo editing, I learned video editing. This is an example that's not coding related. I learned SEO. I learned a whole bunch of little things, and I got better at public speaking and communication, which is key as well. Now, for you, what it may be is that you want to make I don't know, what do you want? Like, what coding you have an app idea that you want to make. You have some sort of idea that you want to implement, and you'll find out that, oh, I want to be able to do email collection because one day I want to sell something to these people who are following my website, following my app. And okay, I don't know how to do that. Then you learn about inputs, you learn about types, and then you learn about how to create maybe an API endpoint so that you can send that to a database. You learn about databases. So these are the type of things that you could pick up. So once you kind of feel like you have an okay skill set or an okay understanding, the next level, and this will help you get a job too, by the way, starting something from 0 to go to 50% or 100%, whatever it is very impressive to employers, and you have something to show as well as a portfolio item along the way. Let's see here. How was the learning curve for Photoshop and video editing? It wasn't too bad. I had played with it a little bit when I was younger. I'm not super great by any means, but I do have a working knowledge of it, and it's pretty straightforward. And then James goes on about his streaming and gaming right now. He's saying, I want to be self-sufficient. So one of the ways to be self-sufficient is residual income. That's actually the only way. At some point, you need to have more money than you spend, and you need that money to continue coming in, right? So what I do is I invest my income. I invest it into stuff like peer-to-peer lending. If you want a good video about what peer-to-peer lending is and how I make about 10% and Engineer Truth makes about 10%, he has one on his channel. Another thing is that, so every month, and stocks is another great one, creating a course, writing a book. But the plan is I invest right now 17% of my income, and I plan to get it up to 50% at some point. So what I do is every paycheck, I increase the amount I invest. And one day I want to hit 50%. So about 2 years from now, I'll have been investing 50% of my paycheck. Now, the reason I do that is because every month I invested in peer-to-peer lending and eventually stocks and things like that. I'm getting a return on I'm getting interest every month. Right now, I just got my newest statement. I made $48 in interest. You're saying that's not really that much. But when you think about it, if we were to compare it with let's just say our goal is to have a full-time salary that's paying minimum wage. So minimum wage is what? $8 an hour, something like that. And we'll just round for easy math, we'll say I made $50. So actually it works out perfectly. So I got paid, what's eight times? So for 6 hours. In this month alone, if our goal is just to make a full-time salary and minimum wage, we're 6 out of 160 hours there. Not a huge amount, but also that's just money that we decide not to spend our money, and money's coming back to us because of it. And you have to be in a situation where you can invest, but that's just one thing. You also have YouTube, right? So I make roughly, so one of the plans for my channel is every year on my 1 year or every yearly anniversary, we're like 2 months away from that, 3 months away. I will go over my analytics. I will show you exactly what I make, how I make it, and how many views I get, my subscriber growth, all that sort of stuff. I did it a year ago, and a year ago I was making roughly if I remember correctly, about $80 a month in YouTube revenue. Not a ton of money, but again, we're equating it with a full-time minimum wage salary, which isn't a lot again, but you start thinking about that is I basically have somebody out there working for me. That's 10 hours a month. Think about what am I making now? Just off of ad revenue, it's about $320. So I've now in 9 months, I have 4 times the amount of ad revenue and $320 coming in. Pretty solid. Again, but it's residual income. If I stopped really putting stuff up, I could probably still get about $300 a month. But I want more, right? I want to eventually have this be my full-time job. Eventually, I will make a course and I will sell it, and hopefully people buy it. And I'll make residual income that way. So that's the idea, is to work for yourself, right? And there's different ways of doing that. I have a game plan that I plan on implementing. And to me, it's a 5 to 10 year game plan. I'm 29. In October, I'll be turning 30. And by the time I hit 35, I want to be halfway there at the least. And by the time I hit 40, I want to be retired. And I'm nowhere near that point right now. But I think if I work hard, I make smart business decisions, and I try to get to that next level, it's all about the daily grind. And if you can't daily grind yourself to where you want to be in 10 years, you're fucking up, right? So I think I've given myself ample amount of time to get to where I want to go. All right, let's see here. Stalin, am I saying that right? Like from World War II, Stalin Vasquez says, any plans to make the advanced front-end projects in Angular as you did in some of the zip liners before? I was thinking about it. So Stalin, this is the thing I was thinking about is, we were talking about a second ago about me making a course. I made a couple Angular videos showcasing how to do some of the basic API projects in Angular. What the game plan was, and I haven't gotten to it for a while, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be doing it, is that I was going to make a course, and those were going to be the free videos. So you guys kind of get introduced to it on my channel, and I was going to do 10 more projects in Angular so that you could build to your portfolio. And I was going to sell that as a course for like 20 bucks, 30 bucks, whatever. It seemed like a right fit. So that was something that I was thinking about doing. But I mean, you're the one asking about it. Is that something that you think you would pay 20 bucks for if I gave the first 3 videos out so you could see? And then from there, we're going to build out, let's say in total 10, right? We're going to build 10 projects in total. And so you get a feel for the learn by projects, right? So by the end of the course, I want you to have 10 single page applications built out in Angular. I'm glad you say you'll buy it. It will motivate me. You may see the course very soon if people are interested in that. Oh. Have I ever prototyped a website using Adobe XD, then went to bring it to life by coding your design out? No. The closest I've ever done is building wireframes in Balsamic or Pencil Project and following user flowcharts that I made in Glyphy and things like that. That's the closest I've ever come. I'm on a small team right now, so there's not a lot of time to do that. Like you do a little bit of everything, but because you do a little bit of everything and your main job is to write in JavaScript and Angular, those kind of side jobs, I don't want to say skip over, but they're not as important. You can get a C- on design in terms of what it's going to look like, as long as there's an understanding that you're going to make it better, and architecting as well. That's up to the senior developer, is how to architect it. Yeah. Let's see here. But yeah, so you may see that course. That's one of the ways I want to kind of move forward. But that's the thing is the way that I learn, and I don't know if you guys learn the same way. Let's talk about the course that I eventually may or may not make, right? Is people have trouble tying it all together, right? People have trouble kind of saying, look, I know basic JavaScript, right? I know basic JavaScript, and I know HTML and CSS, but I don't really know how to actually take it and put it together. I just need someone to walk me through it, right? I just need someone to one time kind of showcase me, this is how all these things fall together in this one puzzle. And then now, since I've seen all these pieces make a complete puzzle, when I have a new puzzle, I'll be able to work my way and complete it. And so that is why when I was considering making a course, and I wanted to, that's why the I think I called it Learn Angular JS by Projects. That was where the idea came from. Is I'm going to teach you the basics in the first video, but after that, we are now going to take that and we're going to build shit. We are going to actually build shit. Like, no more of just studying theory, no more of seeing syntax. How does this shit actually work in the real world? And that's what my courses will be based off of. So that not only did you buy my $30 course, let's say it's $100. $100, a lot of money, especially for a student. It's not an absurd amount, but it's $100. But at the end of it, what will you have to show? You will have 10 projects that will probably work with Bootstrap. So you work with Bootstrap yourself. It'll probably work with Angular Material. You'll have HTML, CSS, obviously. Maybe we'll do one with Sass as well. And next you'll work with we'll do a less, or so we'll tie in all these technologies and how they can work together. And maybe even we'll do stuff like, hey, this is the jQuery version, this is the Angular JS version, this is the vanilla JavaScript version, and then we go to that next level. And so, like, my LAMP databases is saying, I struggle to make forms with JavaScript and Node. Node is beyond me, though. So the thing is Node is, and granted, I started learning Node yesterday. I was able to, after jumping into Node with someone just sitting down with me for an hour, answering my questions and delivering, I was able to complete the very first API project in about 2 hours. So it's not that it's hard. It's just no one's ever sat you down and explained it to you, and you've never had to jump in and create something. And so moving forward, guys, if that's something you want, I may tell me what type of course you want. I could do Angular, obviously. I'm an Angular developer, and we can kind of showcase how to. I'll design a syllabus, and the freeCodeCamp projects are great, but to really dive into Angular, we need to have multiple controllers, and you really only need one for Angular, or one for a lot of those projects in design. So we'll have to come up with our own projects and stuff like that. Angular? How you doing, Angular? Would you ever get a job in something other than web development? Other than web development, still programming? I wouldn't be qualified for a job in anything besides web development. Are there any coding mentor programs live through the web? Right here, baby. What do you think we do these 1,000-hour live streams for? So I can get feedback and help you out. There are sites that you can charge like hourly rates. I do something similar, but not everyone can afford it, right? So like, you know, I get people almost daily that will add me on Facebook or join. But also coding mentor programs, it's that's like what our Facebook group's about. It's keep you motivated, to keep you on track. You have questions, you need mentorship. That's what it's about. The link is in the description as well as in the chat right now. But yeah, and that's why you have these free resources, right? Where you have a group of people in our Facebook group. It's Code Tech and Caffeine. You have a group of people who are probably, you know, these are people who the only people who know about this group for the most part, because we just started it. We have like 250 members or 230 or something like that. We started 3 weeks ago, but the people who know about it are subscribers. Chances are, if you're watching my free CodeCamp videos, you're watching, you know, my Codecademy videos, is you're learning. You need someone to sit you down and kind of explain what you don't understand. You need someone to sit you down and you say, hey, I don't even know how to ask the question for what I need to know. That's a real thing. That is a real and very likely thing of I'm in deep water. I'm a competent person, but I don't even know how to ask you the question. Like, I don't know what words to use. I don't know how to format it so that I can search for it, right? That's why you have these Facebook groups to help you out along the way. And that's part of the reason that I said freeCodeCamp mentored me, because I didn't know what to do. I had been doing all these Codecademy tutorials, and I wasn't sure, how do I go from doing tutorials to tying it all together? Because this never occurred to me. It never fucking occurred to me to tie it all together. It never did. I just assumed I would get hired and I would tie it all together at work. No, that's not how it's going to work. That's not how it works. And you need to tie it all together and build things out on your own. And once you do, and once you do, you're now, in my book, a developer. You have transcended the novice student stage, and you're now into the I am a developer stage. And I can make things, and I can do things, and I can fix things, and I can break things, right? How long have you been coding or learning for? It's hard to say. Did I ever I hand in my custom resume all the time. For those of you guys, let me see if I can show it to you. I think I just took my name, my phone number off of this. But if you guys want to see the custom resume that I had made by how important is knowing the DOM for web development? Pretty important, man. You don't need to know it inside and out, but you do have to have a strong understanding of it, just because, I mean, that's web development. All right, cool. So I'm going to show you guys, since someone brought it up, my resume. And you can make something very similar off of novoresume.com. I encourage you to. Let me see here, screen share. So this is my resume that I have up on my page. And I'll walk you through it on how to create a good resume and why I have certain things in here. So some people, older generations don't like you to put this in here, but we're new, and every study will say that you're like 70% more likely to get a call back if you put your photo in there. The next thing, I always talk about what technologies I'm learning. I think this is crucial because this shows that you're eager, you're hungry, you're learning new things. So I always talk about what I'm trying to learn, what I want to work with, what my passions are, and that I volunteer, go to meetups and hackathons. You have all your relevant information, phone number, email. You have your LinkedIn. Definitely have a LinkedIn. I already made a video about that. And your portfolio website. Over here, this is what you need to really dive in deep to and showcase. Like, you don't have to put, and I probably should take some of this nonsense off, but you don't have to put these soft skills if you don't want. The only two that should really be on there is communication and team building, teamwork. And the rest of the stuff, these are all technologies I've worked in or I'm comfortable with. You have your experience, bullet points as to what you've done, personal projects. This is going to be big for you when you're working with as you're trying to break into the field. Links to those personal projects, if at all possible, achievements, certifications, all that sort of stuff. So you'll see all this great stuff, but that's just an example of my resume. You can build one on novoresume.com. That one was a little bit unique because they made it for me because I helped them out with some stuff a while back, and they wanted to say thank you. But you can build a very similar resume on Novo Resume. It won't have the HTML tags in there, but you can always take that down, so you can export it, and then you can go ahead and change it yourself. Yeah, Cassidy's web portfolio design is genius, and I love everything about it. I want to steal it, but it's not. I actually don't have a portfolio thing on my. I don't have one, so maybe I will. On my website, I don't have a portfolio page. Just something to think about. I may have to design my own. By the way, guys, we got a lot of great guests coming up on the channel. So one of the things. So yesterday we had our interview, and it'll be out this coming Friday. But yesterday we had our interview with Chris Sean, which is a coding vlogging channel, and he's very passionate. And I got a little emotional after the fact because it just really reminded me of how far April and I have come from not being able to buy groceries to I have an office now. I have an office. It's great, man. I can't get over it. It's so great having an office, man. I used to have a bedroom. That was an office, a kitchen, a dining room, and at some point a bedroom, right? So we've come some ways, and so it really reminded me of that, and how hard things were, and just how grateful I was that the grind pays off, and we grinded, man. We really did. So and yes, and it made me it's hard to at all times appreciate your significant other as they should be. It's just part of life, right? So sometimes you get upset, sometimes you get angry, sometimes you don't show the love and the caring and the tenderness that you should towards your significant others. But part of it was just remembering back to who was there. Like, who was there when you were feeling like a fucking loser and a piece of shit, and who was there to say, baby, you're none of those things. You're working hard, and you will get there. Because all it takes is one wrong turn. All it takes is for you to feel that, and because it's natural, man. I try to stay positive, but every once in a while, and you're going through it, and you're poor, you can't afford shit, and you're just trying to keep it together. You're trying to work hard, and you're telling it, and everything that is telling you that you'll get there, but you're going and you're saying, God, I feel I feel like such a loser. I don't know. Maybe I'm making the wrong decision. And then all it takes is for you to go with that one time, and now you stop learning code. So when someone says you're at that roadblock, whether you know it or not, and they say, hey, calm the fuck down, keep it together, and don't be a little bitch. And you say, all right, and you keep that shit moving. You say, I am a coding god. All right, if I'm not a coding god now, I will be, and I'm a goddamn demigod right now, and I will get there. All right, that's what you say, and they keep you together. And so the people like April in my life who believed in me, that's all it takes, someone to believe in you, right? And so she believed in me, and life has gotten better because of it. Anyhow, it is what it is. Yeah. So thank you for the real ones sticking by you when you weren't shit. All right. Am I upgrading my entire PC? I plan to. So I am looking at buying the newest graphics card. So I haven't had a new graphics card in about 10 years. So I'm going to buy the new graphics card. Well, it depends. So I have a potential life-changing thing going on that I have to kind of wait on. But the plan is to buy a $700 graphics card, the NVIDIA 1080, NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti. I think it comes out in a day or 2 or 3 days before I can pre-order it. Right now, you can only pre-order it if you bought like the 980 Ti, as I understand it. So I plan on upgrading that. I also want to put an SSD in my desktop because I'm using a solid state, I'm using an older, I forget the hard drive, the old hard drive type. And I also want to get a 4K monitor so I can start recording screen shares in 4K for those of you who use 4K monitors and 4K TVs and things like that. And so my content scales better with technology. So that's kind of the game plan. But yeah, within the next week, I'll have made the decision or not to move forward with it. But I'm pretty sure I will. But I use my PC as a workstation, 100%. I also use it to game, but I don't really game too much. I plan on changing that. Aridis Gutierrez says, do you ever plan to do a meetup or host a hackathon maybe in Florida? I live in Florida, so maybe I could set something up. I mean, you know what's funny is every time I go to a meetup, I get people who, like, I've gone to a couple of meetups at the Iron Yard down in St. Petersburg, and I've run into subscribers, and it's kind of a cool feeling, man. It's not something that it's always dudes, man. It's no hot chicks throwing them at my ear or anything like that. Not that I would take on, but it would be nice. It's just like some pretty coding chick was like, dude, you're so great. I'm like, yeah, baby, tell me more. It's always good, man, to meet. Like 9 out of 10 people that I've met, 9 out of 10 people that I've met have been really great, man. I enjoy talking to them. They got nothing but positivity. It keeps me motivated. Reminds me what the point of all this is, right? And so I've had some great experiences meeting people. So I'm totally open to doing a meetup. I don't think I'm big enough yet, though. I will do a meetup at 100,000 subscribers guaranteed, and I'll get Engineered Truth to jump in on it with me too. So that's what we'll do. How does my PHP journey go? God, I'm learning Node.js instead, boys. Like, Node is so much better than PHP. So how does it feel to be a successful influencer? I don't know that I am. I don't think I have a big enough following to get there. I mean, I do have some benefits, right? I've only been learning PHP at work, by the way. So I'm learning Node.js now as of yesterday, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm going to dive 100% into it, and I'm going to knock out that backend certification, and I'm going to post all the videos up for you guys. So, I mean, what defines a successful influencer? Like, I get some sponsored videos. I get a little bit of sponsorship money. I get some ad revenue, but I'm not really like a super big influencer. I'm definitely, once you hit past 10,000, it's respectable. I feel like once you hit past that 10K subscribers, you can kind of say, hey, man, it's kind of nice. Like, when you tell people you have a coding channel, they're not going to be like, yo, man, this guy's got 500 subscribers. He ain't got shit. But I feel like now I have a respectable amount of subscribers, which is part of the reason I want to say thank you every 1,000 subscribers so that we can all kind of kick it and do what I can. Yeah. Fast and easy development in Node.js is true, man. I love it. I built the entire API project, the first one, right? The easiest one, in 2 hours. Maybe 3 if you count the 1 hour I took to learn the basics of Node. Love it, man. Is April learning to code too? April is learning HTML and CSS right now. She wants to. She's trying to find the motivation to. It's interesting because I try not to be too harsh with her. And it's kind of weird to even use that word. But like for me, I know what my motivation is. April's still trying to find what's going to motivate her to learn code and software. But like, when you have recruiters calling you for jobs, like she's looking for work right now, right? While studying code, she's looking for like secretary work, administrative assistant work, and she can't find anything. So she's looking, and it's like part of that. But I'm like on the other opposite end of the coin. So she sees me getting calls, people trying to steal me away, right? I got a call yesterday of a recruiter trying to, offer me a job. Basically, hey, are you interested? This is what we can pay you. How much would you want to get paid? Like, what can we get you over here? So I'm completely on the other side of the coin. And I think she sees that, and maybe that motivates her. But she's trying, man. But I don't really believe anybody's trying to learn to code until they're there. I don't know. I hope she sticks with it. But that's the thing is, when taking on such a monumental journey, and I would say it took me about 9 months to get my developer job. And granted, I had some college courses, but I never touched JavaScript or web development. And I kind of would say I fell into it in web development in a degree. But I would say that there's definitely going to be a learning curve for her. But she has to kind of find what makes her motivated to stick with it, because it's a long process, right? Even if you start learning code, like our boy Chris Sean's got a job after 3 months. That's a 3-month commitment. You have to stay motivated. The smoke, or the smog, as Chris Sean affectionately called it, this is the essential oil diffuser. I actually do an office tour where I talk about this. It's the most. Someone's like, it's the most notorious essential oil diffuser on YouTube. Excuse me. So, have I ever thought about writing a book in the future about coding and other tips? I have, actually, an ebook, but it would basically be the same content that I put out in my videos. So, like, what's the word I'm looking for? How to put resume experience on, how to put relevant experience on your LinkedIn. I did a video about that. Some ways of finding a job internship. Some ways of creating experience without experience. Like all these sort of things I've kind of done videos about, or I will do video about. It would be a reiteration of that, right? I might go into more detail, but I don't know if it'd be worth the time, right? So like, how many people actually buy books, right? A few to little. Engineer Truth has a much bigger audience. He spent, I want to say, 2 months writing his book, working with a publishing company, and it makes him like $30 a month. It's a massive time investment. I would be better off creating a course, putting in video content where at the end of the course we give advice on how to get jobs. I could definitely talk about the journey, though. I don't know. I need to do a book. I think that's more of a blog post than anything else. But I mean, all the things you guys are talking about. Wes Bose, I'll add it to the list. I don't know who that is, but hey, I was talking. I don't know if I got to it, but we're interviewing Code Course tomorrow, boys. That's a big one. That Code Course will be our biggest YouTuber interview to this day. One of the largest coding channels around. Gotta sneak that one on there. Excited for that. So Code Course, I believe, has 200,000 or 250,000 subscribers. Pretty good shit. Thank him for going out and taking the time, right? Yeah, but of course it's not all about money. It's more about time, right? So and this goes back to James Scott's thing about how do I work a job while still pursuing my goals, right? Of being a gaming YouTube channel or being a streamer, is you have to decide on time investment, right? So the amount of time it would take for me to write a book and how much I would enjoy it. And I would enjoy it, so it is a possibility. And you know what? My dad is a writer. I don't know if you guys know this, but my dad is a writer, and I used to do some writing. I used to get paid to be a tech blogger as well. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility. But I would definitely give it some clickbaity title, man. I would give it the most clickbaity fucking title it could. And I'd be like, from pizza delivery driver to web engineer, the journey of one YouTuber's golden dreams, or some shit like that, and how you can do it too, baby. You always end it with the how you can do it. It would be the longest and most clickbaity thing I could get, but it would do everything. It would go through the whole process, right? It's actually a pretty enjoyable thing to write. I think it would be very holistic for me. I think it would be very healthy to kind of talk about my mindset, my feelings, how it got there. It'd be very personal. But I think also at the same time, I could give a lot of experience and a lot of advice and things like that. I have heard of JavaScript30.com. Is he the creator of that? Is that what's going on? So interview Code Babes? I could, man. I have yet to come across their videos. I'll reach out to them. Why not? I don't mind. It's kind of frustrating when you try to do it and just because you don't have breasts. Sorry. I have not read anything about WebAssembly. Yeah, DM them for me. No, I'm not familiar with WebAssembly. So, but yeah, I could do a book, man. It'd be kind of fun. I could get down with that. I don't know that it would be an ebook though. So if you wanted it, you'd have to buy it from there. Just because I'm not going to work with a publisher ever. There's no, like, chances are I'd sell less than 100 copies. Now, so it would really be more of a passion project and something to put on there about me writing an ebook, like a portfolio item down the road. Yeah, I could definitely do it. I would probably start it from graduate. Like it. This is the thing is I don't think there's a way for me to accurately explain my mindset without it getting personal, without it talking about from high school to 10 years. Like it would have to cover like a 10-year span and the future of the channel. And it would talk about graduating high school, where I was mentally, where I was doing this, what the game plan was, and how I wanted to get there. And it would be 50% about me and then 50% about coding and becoming a better coder. So you'd have to really be interested in me. I don't think it would make a lot of sense not to tell the story along with why you do things. And I think you have to build that up. And I don't know if people would be interested in that. So, but it would be fun. It might be something. I could do it. Have I seen Logan yet? No, not yet. I'm actually on call for work, so I have to be near a computer at all times. Will I do an Angular 2 series ever. I made one video showcasing how to make a tribute page, but I haven't released it in Angular 2. Because I didn't plan on moving forward with Angular 2. That's basically the gist of it. Right now, I'm going to focus entirely on learning Node so that I have some backend that I can work. And that is that's the current focus right now. Angular 2 isn't on the agenda anymore. After spending 2 weekends in learning Angular 2, I can tell you I'm not going back to it for a while. Have you done any talks about your coding experience at local meetups and such? No. Somebody asked me at a meetup to talk. I will. But I'm in the same situation as you were in LA. Wife is 4 weeks out for our third kid. I'm in Mexico, but really looking at Florida. Any advice on getting people to take you're serious for relocation? So 2 main tips. One, put right in the header. If you were here earlier, I had my resume, and there's like a paragraph. Put right in there, first or second sentence, eager and willing to relocate for great opportunities. That's what I put in there, and that allowed me to get more callbacks when I was playing from California to Florida. That's not a small jump. That's about as big of a jump as you could get, right? It's 2,600 miles. Put that in there. Let them know that it's not an accident that you applied, that you're actively looking to move out of state or move out of the country in your case. Put that in there. The other thing is, if there's a city that you're interested in, and this is something Stephen Mayu told me, if you are a fan of freeCodeCamp, and you want another great YouTuber who teaches the content, Stephen Mayu is another great instructor, if you will, another great coding channel. He's smaller, but he doesn't upload as much, but he taught himself from freeCodeCamp and is working as a full stack developer. Now, he gave me, when I interviewed him, he gave me one piece of advice I think is pretty solid that goes with this, is when he was ready to transition jobs, he changed his title and his location. So like he wanted to work in Austin, Texas, or in Texas in general, and I believe he did. And he changed his title to full stack web developer because that's what he considered himself. So he started getting recruiters reaching out to him. And also he started, he changed the city that he was looking in on his resume to like Austin or to Texas. So do that to the cities that you're considering, as well as put it on your resume when you're looking to apply, as well as put it in your LinkedIn header also. So those are my 2 or 3 tips there. No, we don't use Photoshop or Sketch at work. I gotta sit down, guys. My back is killing me. April was being playful, and I was like bent over picking something up, and she jumped on my back with lightly, and I pulled something like an old ass man, right? Oh man. All right. Cool. So how did you know you were ready to begin applying for jobs? I did a video on this, coincidentally. I don't know if I released it yet, but I did one. The gist of it is, for me anyhow, I was in a unique situation. I was a life alert for Dylan is the next Patreon goal, right? So like, oh, my back. I need my little garage opener so that people know that I'm crippled. So for me, it was pretty straightforward. I am under the impression that if you can build something, you're ready. So like when you're at that point where you can tie things together easily, if you go and look at a text editor and someone is blank text editor and they say start building, you can get started and you don't panic. I think you're ready for the workforce. That's my personal opinion. You're not going to start at the top of the ladder, but you can start working your way up, right? Why not get paid at the bottom of the ladder if you can, and continue getting better and getting paid to get better and go on to the next phase of your life? The other thing was 2 main things. I was in the situation where I was working at a software company, not doing software. but I was able to see the front. I was surrounded by developers. I was able to see the things that the front-end developers were working with and understand it very clearly. And so I felt like that once I could see what they were actually doing on a a relative scale, I'm not there going through the code base too often. I was ready to jump into be a developer. And I also saw some of the people they were interviewing and they were doing the tests, and I felt like I was better, if not more qualified than them. And that was kind of what got me started applying for jobs. Another question. I'm good with Java, so is it necessary for me to learn node.js? I see most people running for web dev because I'm more into Python / Golang as my second backend language. I think it just depends on what you're doing. I happen to be a mean stack guy, so that's why I'm learning it. So that would be MongoDB, Express, Angular, and Node. And so I think it's important to learn a stack. I think it'll make it easier for you. But if you have a stack that goes with Java, I'm not too well versed in Java, like whatever the Java stack is. I think that's probably just fine. When learning languages, do you think it's better to know a lot about the language in terms of methods and techniques, or do you think it is better to just create things regardless? I think you're going to have a working knowledge, but there's so much in every language, and you're going to be working with frameworks and libraries and all this other bullshit and other frameworks within frameworks, right? Is that you're never going to have to what's the word I'm looking for? Master a language ever again. Keep that out of your mind. Never will you master a language. I don't care what anybody says. Things change too quickly for you to master it. So what you have to do is learn how to think like a programmer, have the bare essential syntax and tools, and you have to be able to learn by reference. So when you come across a problem, you have to be able to reference, oh, I think this existed. Let me research it. That's what you have to do. Oh, man. God, my back, though, man. Let me tell you. Oh, by the way, I see we have 25 people in here. Make sure you join our Facebook group, Code Tech and Caffeine. The link is in the description as well as the chat. I threw it in there so you can be around some like-minded individuals to help keep you motivated and focused. What types of layouts and designs should I be able to make with HTML and CSS before going on with JavaScript? HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap or Flexbox. Would Bootstrap for the grid system and Flexbox for it instead would be my advice. But I think you should just be able to make a simple page, right? Like you should be able to make tribute pages. You should be able to make a survey form. And this is one of the things that I like about the beta for freeCodeCamp is they've actually expanded on the HTML section. So instead of building like 2 things, there's 5 now that you can build with just pure HTML and CSS. So if you want some ideas, Jonathan Garland, you can go on to beta.freecodecamp and see what they have there. What framework should I learn? Angular, React. That's basically it. If you're gonna have to learn a bunch, but Angular, React are the main ones. That would be my advice, man. Angular or React. The M part of mean is MongoDB, right? How is it different from MySQL? So I haven't touched MongoDB, but I have messed with SQL and MySQL, and in that instance, it was all syntax. They all typically work similar, but again, I haven't messed with MongoDB yet. I will as I continue through the backend certification of Node and whatnot, and I had fun with it for the first time in a while, boys. I enjoyed learning like something new. Like I jumped between React, Angular 2, D3, but then I hit Node, and it was like you know that music, that cheesy music where it's like hit those high notes, didn't I? Where it's like the light is shining down on you and like everything's clicking. That's how I felt last night making the first Node.js API project. I loved it. And it's what I'm going to do when this live stream is over, to be honest with you. How can I convert from freeCodeCamp to the beta without losing the progress I made already? Erlen Sanchez, I don't know that you can. That was actually one question I didn't ask Quincy. I'll shoot him a message to follow up. But my advice, man, is don't worry about that. Do it twice. Do it twice and let it stick, man. That's my advice. I do this shit twice. So I think you should just do it twice, let it stick, and it'll all work out for you, man. I really do. And don't worry about your time. I think there'll be benefits in doing it twice. I think, and by the way, you'll jump through it faster than before. So like, you're going to do it one time and it's going to take you a little longer. You're going to do it a second time, you're going to do it in half the amount of time, but you're going to learn twice as much. So you really are. That's my advice, man. With that is don't worry about the time. Learning code's a time investment, man. And you shouldn't try to skip out on 2 hours covering all the foundation and the basic and basically giving all the tools. Because what's going to happen is, and that's one of the things I think really made me a better developer, is not only was I'm more focused and learning more things through Codecademy and freeCodeCamp, but I found that when I would go to make the projects, which are some of my most popular videos, by the way, when I do the front end projects, I would find that when I hit a spot that I was and I already developed, right, just going through the motions, explaining my thought process, I found that I would come across things that I did not fully understand, but I got to work, right? And it was really enlightening. And I think part of the reason is that I became such a better developer is I worked through things twice. I really do think that's it. Have you been able to look at PhoneGap? I've yet to be able to look at PhoneGap. I have not heard of ClearCut. Any advice for tackling the advanced algorithm challenge? Oh, just the algorithm challenges on freeCodeCamp. The advanced ones, there's 3 or 4 on there. I haven't done. That shit's hard, man. My advice is to try and draw it out when solving the algorithms for the first time. You'll see in the corner here a cat and a microphone, but up in that corner you'll see a whiteboard. Get yourself a whiteboard, start drawing it out, start trying to visualize it more than anything else, and it will really help you out along the way. Jordan Tecklenburg says, Bootstrap or Foundation? Bootstrap's more popular. If you have to choose one, that's the one to choose. You should always go with the most popular, in-demand framework, library, style sheet, whatever you want to call it. And because there's more jobs. I mean, that's the gist of it. It's the bulk of you are either developer trying to become a developer in terms of you don't have resume experience yet. So what you need to do is you need to learn the most in-demand things to get that first job. And then if you happen to be working in other technologies, you can look for that while you're working there, man. But 9 out of 10 of you are probably still trying to get your foot in the door. That would be my guess. Anyhow, I know we do have some people in here who have been developed for 20 years and like to brag over there, Kevin. But no, so. Whew. All right, guys. So I again, this was a nice little session we had here. Thank you for being part of my channel. Thank you to the 1,000 of you who have joined between the 15 and 16,000, and thank you to those first 15. I'm going to continue putting out great content moving forward with our channel. We're going to have more interviews with people like Code Course, Chris Sean. I have a follow-up interview with Nicholas Spinoza, who we interviewed right after he graduated Hack Reactor. He jumped into a live stream the other day, said, hey, I'm ready for a follow-up interview. He's making $124,000 now, straight out of a boot camp. Keep that in mind. And we're going to do a follow-up interview with him. Lots more interviews. We're going to be going to be doing some of the node.js projects. So I'm going to help you guys out, help myself out as well, doing the backend certification on freeCodeCamp. And whenever freeCodeCamp finally gets that shit out of beta, we're doing all of it, baby. We are doing all of it. Thank you guys for being here. It's going to be a pleasure continuing on with my channel. These live streams motivate me. I have a great time. And as always, guys, if you want to support me, you can at patreon.com/codetutorials360. But more important than that, and it's very important to give me money, but more important is that you go and you join our Facebook group, Code Tech and Caffeine, so you can stay with like-minded individuals who are trying to get in, or in the grind, and will help keep you in the grind and keep you motivated and focused and share resources. You can get the link to that in the description or in the chat if you're here live. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.